Hi, this is Rene Byrd, and I'm absolutely excited to have with me today Alice Widows, the Director of Events and Marketing Company. Thank you so much for joining me today, Alice. How are you doing?
Oh, it's great to be here, Rene. Thank you so much for having me on Who Am I?
Oh, for your absolute pleasure. And tell me, how did you get into events and marketing? It sounds really exciting.
So I was very lucky. I grew up in Mallorca, and as a young girl, I was put in a little boat the size of a bathtub called an Optimist by my father. And I soon grew to love sailing. And when I went back from university, I studied business and languages and marketing and PR. And I started my working career in a fashion brand of marketing and PR. And I worked with brands such as Burberry, Max Mara, and high-end fashion brands. But I soon realized that there was another section to this, which was event management and sponsorship. So I was able to combine the two following some time out in Australia, where I actually went and furthered my sailing career and crewed on boats and sailed all over the world, racing and crewing on high-performance yacht racing yachts. And got my skills up there, racing with Australians and Americans and a vast amount of very, very high professional sailors. And soon realized that I could combine my passion and my purpose, and I put the two together. And for the last 25 years, I've been organizing regattas and sailing events and using my background in PR and marketing.
Oh, wow. So yes, actually, there is definitely a cohesion between the two. And how exciting to be involved in the yacht industry effectively, which is a very luxurious industry, I must add.
It's a very privileged, it's a very special industry, and it's a very special space, and we have to carefully, mindfully look after it, yes.
Definitely. And so obviously we are slowly coming out of this unprecedented time. You know, it's affected a lot of industries, a lot of businesses. But how has it affected the yachting industry? Obviously, people will be traveling. There's loads of events that occur around the summer season. So how have you navigated that terrain?
Well, unfortunately, and in my business with events and event management, so many of the regattas and boat shows have been forced to cancel or postpone. So the knock-on effect of this is that the large yacht brands are having to find other ways to market themselves to the super yacht owners. So this is where we have to be more resourceful and resilient in these times. And as you can imagine, rather like we are speaking today, Rene, social media, digital marketing, messaging, branding, building awareness through other channels is having to run alongside our nurtured relationships with these high net worth individuals, because it's very specialized, it's very unique, it's very bespoke. And so the industry as a whole has handled digital marketing in, let's call it, in a little bit more, has taken it up a little bit more slowly, rather like the luxury market. It hasn't adapted and adopted it as early as other markets. As telecommunications or the car industry. So it has needed this impetus to get on board. And so we now see what's unrolling is things like online boat shows, conferences, everybody's up in their game. So for me, it's been an interesting time. I've had to adapt my business. My events model has absolutely been obliterated. I've had to bring on board sort of shake down my PR skills, and I've been training back in my digital marketing models. And I found clients have wanted to re-engage with all that behavior, whereas before they had just picked up the phone to a client and taken him down to a boat. These days are very different.
Wow. And, you know, obviously in that industry, high net worths, they can be very demanding. And how have they been feeling about this transition? Obviously, they're aware because it's a global climate that we're going through. Have they adapted quite nicely to the online platforms? And, you know, you mentioned about an online cocktail night, which sounds fantastic. How do they handle all of that? Because they're all around the world, obviously, so they can zoom in.
Yes, I think there's two aspects to that. Firstly, yes, the majority of my clients are online in some capacity. Now, they will not tell you or let themselves be known, but everybody's online in some capacity.
Yes.
They come to you in a very informed way. So they don't make a boat purchase or a product or service purchase lightly. They now come to you with more knowledge than you probably have at certain times on a product, service, or call it a yacht. And so it's up to us as the service provider to be really, really up on knowing these things. And we have to know all our products and services and brands need to be able to be found online. This is where SEO and all these things come into play. And branding is super important because we can't be the worst. You know, everything has to be super slick. But I think more importantly that these yacht owners and high net worth individuals are doing their research. They are matching you against the competition. They are seeing your presence. They are looking how you are showing up, turning up consistently online. And it's no longer okay to be the best kept secret.
Yeah. No, definitely. I think more than ever, every industry business had to literally remodel themselves. So I've been speaking to loads of brands, and as it hit, some people, sadly, they haven't been able to function, but a lot of them said, right, I'm going to use a little bit of innovation and change the model, and it's worked. And I think, I commend you that you sat down and you thought quick and moved quickly to adapt to the market. And, it's, as you know, looking after that type of clientele, they want things to be done. They're used to the personalization, they're used to meetings and things like that. So you have to keep on top of it. So I commend you to even consider the changes that you made within your industry. Obviously, I really have faith that we are going to come into a better place. I've been watching the current affairs and seeing that Europe are now looking at having different opportunities for us to now travel more than we used to. So that will hopefully open up the platforms for you. But I mean, where do you see it going? Obviously, are you going to stay with this model in the meantime, or are you going to hopefully have that model reinvent itself back to what it was before? What do you think is going to happen?
Rene, I think, well, as with everything, it's impossible to predict. For myself, yes. And just going back to how I pivoted so quickly. Yes, my key clients are Italy based, and I was getting news out of Italy as early as February from my client in the Yacht Club Costa Smeralda and Laura Piana, that things were really bad, and I could feel my colleagues in America and England, for example, that didn't have that news. So I was very blessed that I did have some key information very early on that things were not quite what they seemed elsewhere. So I did use that information that I was being given very early on. Now, the plus side of that is that Mallorca, that the Yacht Club Costa Smeralda is open this week. Last weekend it opened. You know, they are looking to run their regattas in September, October, subject to some legislation at the end of this month coming through, so things are opening up. We can operate, but I do believe that it will not be the same for the immediate, for the immediate future and for the long term. The attitudes have been changed. My American clients are very nervous, so we have to adapt with that, not just with behavior stuff. So the sanitization, the the creating medical environments on board the boats, making sure that all the crew behave differently, and not just the space that that the yachts are now these wonderful safe havens for people to come to, but that everybody that interacts with that boat prior to and around getting on that yacht is a safe, sanitized, let's call it quote unquote, environment. It's a wonderful, privileged space to be able to holiday with family and friends, but there's a lot that's going to go into it to get to that point. And the industry is working incredibly hard to provide that. So my model is going to be a new model. I'm going to be very, very agile in this. So I do now have this extra service layer to me, which will be this marketing and PR service that I've just taken on board. And I've got 4 new clients in the last 6 weeks, so that I'm now servicing. Great. And I will just pick up my events marketing. I'm researching a new event for next year already with an existing client, because they want to come back bigger and better than ever for next year. you know. So I think 2021 season will be very interesting. You know, we will have to make a huge amount of, lay down a huge amount of new changes to that, and sustainability, this big catchphrase at the moment, will be part of that. But we will work towards making it a safer environment, a sustainable environment. Innovation will be where we all try and put our new thinking caps on to come out of this stronger.
No, I think you said some really key points about, obviously, 2021. I think events, people have no idea the type of time that goes into planning an event. You know, it's a years ahead at times, you know, getting your sponsors. And I am obviously on the other side as a performer for various events. I've done luxury events, and, you know, the budgets are started at the very beginning, and then you drive it forward. So unfortunately, people don't realize there's a lot of planning. And for 2021, I'm excited for you that you've got that foresight and you're going to go ahead with it for then. And I think a lot of people activate that side of things, events, bigger and better, as you said, next year. And sustainability, that is one of the biggest buzzwords. It's been going on for the last 2 years. People want to feel safe. You know, if you're dealing with very high net worth and certain clientele, they want to feel safe, that they're protected, their family's protected. So there's so much more you have to consider now we're in this crisis, whereas before you was doing that before. You was always making sure that there's a high level of professionalism that was being attained in your industry. But even more, the clients now go, right, why do I use you as opposed to somebody else? And then you give them more things that you're going to offer, I would say.
Absolutely. And in my industry, particularly in the super yacht business, particularly, it's about over-delivering.
Yes.
I think at the moment, obviously, safety and security is going to come first. But I think over-delivering will become, or delivering extra, going the extra mile, will be even more prevalent as we come out of this.
Definitely. And what has been one of your highlights in your career in the sense of creating an event? Was it something, don't have to obviously talk about the individual because that would have some privacy, but is anything in particular that you can say, well, I created this event and it was just amazing, and you was quite nervous because of the client was very high net worth or of a certain prestige, and it came off, you know? Is there anything you can share with the audience? Yeah. So those things are exciting.
I think I've created a portfolio of various different events for different companies, but I think one of my proudest moments, I do a lot of concept to completion, so I launch a lot of events from zero to hero scenario. One of my most memorable was launching a Super Yacht Marina and America's Cup program for the 32nd America's Cup in Valencia, and that was in 2003 to 2007. And that was a big highlight because we actually physically built the marina, and then literally were laying down red carpet, boats were arriving. We had a marina in the middle of the America's Cup, and then we laid on a hospitality program. We had super yacht services for all the yachts. The owners arrived with their yachts, and then we watched all the racing on a daily basis. And that was a big highlight for me personally. And then I've also launched a portfolio of events for a magazine group, Boat International Media, and that was over the course of 4 years, and that was incredibly hard work, but incredibly rewarding.
Wow, no, it's exciting. As I said, the events industry is the amount of work that goes in, the meticulousness, and everyone has to be working in sync to create the end result of just marvelous, an opportunity, an experience for your clients, and then they come back for more, because that's what it is, isn't it? They either get recommended or they experience something which then never leaves them.
Oh, I was speaking to a leader in the business world just yesterday, and saying that 100% of my business is generated by referral. And that is the beauty of this of the high net worth group. But even in this industry, it's all word of mouth and referral based, and as you say, the events business takes years. It can take from 5 years from an event launch to get into profit. Obviously, that's a scale of, from a scalable business point of view, across a portfolio of events. But equally, so much of this is worked on skill set, and I find it fascinating today to be running my own business now for the last 5 years, and I bring all those skills in, and I now know how to work it on my own. I work it around a family. I have 3 teenagers in the house. I have a dog that needs walking, you know, and I work pretty remotely. I'm here in my home office, you know, and I'm learning how on a Sunday morning to talk with you. You know, I find it fascinating that I brought all these skills from working in a corporate career, and traveling around the world and working, you know, with a suitcase and running in high heels on it to catch a plane. You know, that I can bring all those skills together and learn how to run my own business as a woman. I find that a wonderful, rich lesson in life.
No, definitely. I think, you know, my hat goes out to any women that are working, mothers, wives. There's a lot of responsibilities. And then at the end of it, you still create events which are just mind-blowing. So it just says how amazing, not to knock down the men, but women are amazing because we have so many other things that we're doing alongside being a business owner, you know. So that definitely a salute to you without a shadow of a doubt. I mean, what would you wanted somebody to tell you about what you could have known to go ahead and run your business? You know, they say there's some things I wish someone had said this, or I had a mentor that could help me. Was there things that you could pass on to somebody who wants to be inspired, especially in the events industry? What you would like to have been told, or what helped you get to where you are, as well as experience and education, obviously?
And I love it, and it's something that I really enjoy working with the younger generation. In fact, I take on work experience girls, and I always try and mentor where I can, because people have mentored me, and I never knew how tough it was going to be to start your own business. So any advice I can take. I think planning out your time and making sure that you focus on the top 3 priorities every day of what do you want to get done, blocking out anything else that's white noise, and leaning on what were my other critical things, sort of things, taking off all notifications, doing your emails several times a day, not as they come in. There's so many things that you can go into, but I think coaching is a really important thing. I think having a mentor in your life, shooting for having big goals. I think there's nothing wrong with aiming for where you want to be rather than where you're sitting now. Don't be afraid, because and you know, if I'd listened to what I thought when I first moved over to England to marry my now husband, you know, I'd still be ironing piles of laundry from 3 young children I inherited when I moved in with him, you know. So you know, things are very different 5 years on, you know. So I think we have to embrace the challenge and take resources. There are so many resources out there, and we can leave links in here later on if you want, but they're fantastic people out there. They're fantastic resources, and community is everything. Don't do it on your own. You can't do it on your own, is the honest truth. The women in the entrepreneurial groups are fantastic support. And it's just mindset. There's a lot of mindset stuff, and just clearing your day, making it happen. I'm a great believer in the 5 a.m. club. I hate to say it, but I get a lot done before anybody's awake. Exercise, you know, I play a lot of tennis these days because I can't sail, because I'm not located near my marinas anymore. So you know, I think it's I think you have to make it happen. You have to make it happen. No one's going to make it happen for you. I think that's the other thing. You know, no, you can't sit and wait for it. You have to go out and get it.
Completely. No, I think, thank you so much. I'm sure the audience will appreciate that, because I think a lot of people see the end result of anything, don't they? They see what happens, you know. For me, they see the accolade, the video, the music, the song, the show, but they don't realize all the work that went in ahead of time to really make that happen. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah, or me standing in Monaco or down in Saint-Tropez or down in, you know, somewhere lovely which looks all fantastic, but they don't see me as on a Sunday afternoon grafting, you know.
That's correct.
You know,
that's correct.
And that's the truth of it. It's a lot of graft.
Yeah.
But it, you know, and it's always worth it. But there's always a backstory.
There is. And I think it's exciting to hear, you know, your story to how you got into it. And I'm even more excited that you've got plans for the future, because unfortunately in this climate, in this season, you are hearing of casualties of the climate, you know, and it's lovely to hear that you're surviving. Things are going to be moving forward. A lot of what's been good in this time is if you've got a good business and you deal with your clients the right way and your brand the right way, they don't forget that. So even in this climate, they want to still work with you to the end. They want to continue doing business. And I think that's a testament to how you've obviously dealt with them and how you deal with all your different suppliers and stakeholders. So in this season, it's great to hear that there are plans for the future. The event is going to go on, as I say, the show will go on, and it'll be bigger and better. I know that in our industry, when we're successful, we're involved in high net worth and luxury. I think it's a really important thing, and we spoke about that, giving back. And I know with your industry and in your brand, your events company, there's a few types of things that you give back. So could you share that with the audience? Because I think that's a beautiful thing that you're doing.
Yes, of course, Rene. So one of the big key lessons I learned in this COVID-19 was just how poorly, we've all been struck, and it was, it's been a stark reminder to me of how little people are having to survive on a day. And one of the organisations that's reached out to me is the Microloan Foundation, and they help women in sub-Saharan Africa to learn how to build businesses and save and learn business skills and learn how to feed their family nutritiously and learn how to accommodate for a bad crop, for example. But they learn resilience and they learn business training and mindset and how to make a profit. So it's a long-term game, and they are living on £1 a day. And it really struck me as, I've come out of COVID remarkably resourceful and resilient myself, but lots of people haven't. And I really felt it was strongly important that I give back myself, but also that I use my platform. You're very good and you use your platform, but I've been in service to sailing for a long time, but I need to use my platform now to bring some good to what some people that need some help. So I've become an ambassador for the Microloan Organisation, and I will be communicating that through my channels and through my community and seeing where I can actively bring change and hope, more than just a leaflet. We need to be actively promoting change and bringing business skills and knowledge and intelligent information. This is one of my key words I've learned in the few weeks. Intelligent information can make a big difference. It's not just a lip service. It is information and intelligent information that can change people's lives.
No, 100%. I think that's a beautiful thing. And I love that, intelligence information. I think a lot of people do say things, but they don't actually take the action. It's very easy to speak, isn't it? But going that one step further, and people will applaud you for adding that value to people that haven't got what we have. I think in this time, we've really had to think about what really matters to me in this season has been my family, my health. I mean, my health before my family, because obviously if I'm healthy, I can help my family. That, without a question, has been the most important thing. And everything else came after, because I think we took for granted how much we'd just been running around doing stuff, traveling, going to beautiful places, and not realizing that our health, this kind of made us stop and reevaluate what really matters and appreciate other people that along the way, NHS staff, key workers that have been working tirelessly in the background, keeping us afloat. And more than ever, I think we need to definitely salute them. I think they've done fantastic. So it's in this season, a shift has happened in a lot of industries, businesses and people to really think about who they are and what impact they have on others. So I think it's powerful what you're doing. I think it'd be great to help others, without a doubt.
Well, as you so rightly say, I was sitting in my little, corner of the world, servicing a high net worth group, and I felt very irrelevant, and I felt very, and I felt that there must be more I can do, because as you say, there are key workers going on the front line, sacrificing their, their health and their livelihoods. And I felt there must be something I could do somewhere. And that's the point. Somewhere somebody needs us. And I'm a great believer in, slightly going back to how I helped my clients in the beginning and how I got these new clients was because I started helping them, just connecting them with people. I didn't want anything in return because I didn't realize there was a business opportunity at first. I just wanted them to get more exposure. So I started helping. And I believe that if A helps B, A gets better scenario. So, you know, I just thought if I helped them, they would get more exposure, they would get what they deserve out of this, and I would be stronger in the long game. And that's, you know, that's also how we can all function. You know, you can all help. Everybody should, you know, can collaborate. There is no competition. There is no enemy.
That's correct.
We just have to be of service.
I know, I love that, Alice. I think that's a really powerful statement you made about giving back. I think a lot of people always looking to see what they can get from it, as opposed to just actually handing over. The amount of people I've met along the way, you know, you say your own little black book. Sometimes I see something, I think actually that will work for my friend, or that will work for a brand that I know, and hand it over. And the world has a very special way of giving back in its own way. So you give, you receive. You know, and it's not that I give to receive, but actually you'd be surprised how things come back down later on down the channel. So I think it's a beautiful thing to give, and, you know, to help others and let them shine, and everyone's winning at the same time when you do that.
Of course, and it's just if you can be of service somehow and give somebody some limelight, go for it.
Yes, definitely. And so that's it's been really wonderful hearing the story, how you started your business, what's going on in the world of yachts and events. I know obviously 2020 is going to be a great year, and I'm very excited for you and your team and your clients and all the things that you're going to develop. But do you think there could be any other changes? Obviously, we're all online now. We're doing cocktail parties online. What do you think is the big thing in the event space that is going to be the buzzword for maybe 2021 and beyond? Is there anything you could share with?
Yes, I do. In fact, I touched on it, but I'll come back to it to go a little deeper. So innovation is obviously critical, because we've got to innovate to change. And innovation, you know, crisis has generated innovation. So a lot of all our products and services are going to naturally want to be innovative. And then the other one, which is obviously the buzzword, but I do believe misunderstood, and we can focus too much on, and I'll go to there, is sustainability.
Yes.
So sustainability, and I've done it, and the reason why I can slightly talk with a little bit more authority in this is during lockdown I have studied it. So I've done a Super Yacht course on sustainability and how it relates to the Super Yacht business. So I've done some training, and I used to always understand sustainability to be, don't drink a plastic water bottle, you know, and don't fly, you know, don't take too many, you don't have too many MR, you know, don't do too many miles, be mindful of these, you know, single-use plastics, and as my little stepdaughter says, you know, save the dolphins, save the turtles. However, it is so much larger than that. The subject is so much larger, and sustainability comes into a much broader subject. And I think we need to be careful, and I think we can study this, because it incorporates how we treat our employees, it incorporates how we manage our data, it incorporates so much more than just how we manage our materials and how we get rid of our materials. So it is a larger subject. It needs to be the focus of how we run our businesses.
Yes.
And everybody going forward will need to have a sustainability charter. It's coming. It's not here now. I see it. It's coming. And it should be on the tips of our tongues.
Yes.
And if we're clever, and those with agility will be seeking it out now, maybe becoming trainers in it, maybe looking to implement it in their businesses or in their sectors, because I do believe it will be something that within 5 years we'll all have to have some form of measurement against sustainability, whether you're a dentist, a doctor, a air conditioning supplier. For me in my super yacht sector, I do believe that this could be the next big thing in sort of measurements, in being so I think we should be watching it.
Interesting. No, I think you're completely right. I think one of the great things that have happened in this season is that the world had a chance to reset. So for the first time, no one was out, were they? No one was traveling, no one was in their cars, it was under lockdown. And I saw little animals coming out and things I've never seen for a long time. So I think that's been a beautiful time, as well as it was a very sad time in season. It was a beautiful time for the world to reset. And, you know, we had previous to COVID, the big thing was climate change. We were seeing all around the world, fires, raging, plastic in the Maldives. And it's quite interesting that having this, the health crisis has made the world give it a chance. No one was polluting the beautiful beaches and the rivers and things like that. So I think the agenda will be, when we get out of this, is the health, but definitely entwined in that is sustainability, to do with how we live in our life. You know, a lot of those, which I don't think are very good for us, fast food chain restaurants and things had closed. People were cooking. You know, everyone was the master chef, wasn't they? People
went up. I mean, I agree. It's fantastic. And our gardens, and we were going within. I mean, you know, we were looking within, we were exercising, we were meditating. It was all about nurturing. You know, if we go back to how do we run our businesses, you know, right now it's about survival. It's about going within.
It is.
It's about cutting out all the exterior stuff, looking within, and finding out what's really truly important. And you're right, you know, the reset and this time that we've had together is to find out what's important. You know, and a lot's been said at the moment about, let's not rush back to those old lives.
Correct.
Let's recalibrate.
That's correct.
You know, what is important to go back to. Let's pick what's important. Let's prioritize our family and our true friends. We can probably pick our true friends on a hand.
Correct.
You know,
no, you're completely right.
And you know, I've had wonderful time getting my parents and my sibling on the phone every day. It's been challenging. They're probably more than me, but it's broken into something new, because nobody's too busy and they can't get away from me.
No, and it's true. Like when you come off of a Zoom, you're like, okay, where are you going? Because you're not going anywhere. And like we had a few like birthday Zooms for the family, and we was on there for quite a while because no one was actually doing anything. They were cooking sometimes in the kitchen as they're on the Zoom, and I thought that was a beautiful thing. And we've connected under a crisis as family and friends more than we ever have. People were doing quiz nights and things like that. And we should not lose that, because some people were that busy that they weren't able to see family. But now we have to make it a point that if we schedule the time, I don't want to get, too corporate about it, but schedule the time and go, let's speak to my auntie, let's speak to my cousin, because we had nothing else to do but to connect. So that connection, we have to maintain it, whether it's a physical or it's even online, to keep that channel going forward, for definite, sure.
100%. My parents live in Mallorca, and I regularly call them. Used to regularly call them. Now I call them every day.
Yeah.
And I love that. You're right. It's the connection that and so let's not rush back to our busy lives. Yeah. Let's look at our lives a bit like we look at our businesses. Let's really be strategic about where we're spending our time, because time, and we go, and I parallel that with the high net worth world. Luxury is your biggest time. The hardest thing I have to do with a client is get them to spend time somewhere.
Yeah.
So little time, and time is money.
Yep, definitely.
So, let's our time, anyone's time is valuable. So it doesn't matter what you're worth.
No, I'm completely wrong.
And that's what we have to remember. We shouldn't waste our time doing anything, spending it with people that we don't absolutely love and want to be with, or who, and more importantly, who makes us feel valued and loved and adored.
No, completely. I think another thing I've noticed, obviously, been listening out as well as conversations I've had, some people, they didn't last this season. They were together and they realized it's not for them. Marriages unfortunately have split, and as in relationships have blossomed. So you've had different dynamics, and this has been a time that people have literally gone inside and checked and thought about who they are, what matters, and they come out. Yeah, obviously everyone's gone out and they've gone to the beaches and they've gone to connect with family. But generally, a lot of people have been working. I know a lot of very entrepreneurial people have been working on the business, trying to make sure that when we do come out, things are in place. You know, the connections have been had. You know, for me as an artist, I've been online and my visibility has been bigger than it's ever been because everyone's online. So this has been the time, the 3-month cycle, I call it, this quarter, that we was able to really maximize who we are as a person, as a business. And I think it's been tremendous, absolutely tremendous.
Yeah, you've absolutely made much of the, 80% of our online activities in video. You're doing that here, and this is exactly the time to maximize. As you say, I've been busier than ever, than most of my friends and family, and that is why I want to come out stronger and fitter and fighting when we do come out into the real world and
definitely
are allowed to travel again.
Yes, and I think everyone will attest to this. I think it's funny when you can't do something, you want it more and more, don't you? You know, I've been a person that was traveling a lot and I'm dying to get on the plane. A bit, obviously getting it right and that it's safe, but there's something very powerful about being in a different part, especially around water. Water to me is a very healing place when you're around water. It's something very centering about water. So yeah, I'm very excited for, as I say, the aviation travel industry to reignite. I think it will. I do believe they're working in the background, like you've said yourself, getting things in place, making sure things are safe. And once people have that trust and that reassurance, I think everyone will go back out. You know, they'll take their time, but I think it will definitely reignite the industry, no doubt.
Yes, definitely. And as you say, trust is the big word. And it'll be up to us and people like you on your platform to reignite that trust.
Definitely. And so where can everyone find you if they wanted to be in contact? I have people who are entrepreneurs, high net worths on my channels and things. Where could they connect with you? What's the best platform?
Very easy. On Instagram, I'm at Super Yacht Events.
Yes.
And on Twitter, at Alice Widows. So you can find me on those two platforms, and on my website, I'm alicewidows.com.
That's wonderful. Alice, it's absolutely been a pleasure today talking with you. It's actually been very insightful about the yacht industry, the event industry. You know, I have seen and been to Saint-Tropez, which is one of my beautiful locations. It's stunning. But, you know, you see all the events and what's going on, but it's really lovely to hear what really goes on behind the scenes. I'm very inspired how hard people in your industry work to create them, marvelous events that you see that you're engaged in. And what's even more wonderful is that you're giving back. You're looking out for people that haven't had the opportunities that we have very been blessed to have. And to me, that's the most special part. You know, you're working hard, you are creating an amazing event organization, but equally you're looking outside and saying, who can benefit from this? Who can I inspire? And that's what's really powerful about what you stand for. I think it's a great thing. And I wish you every success. And I'm really excited to hear what the next event's going to look like. I'm excited for 2021 because I think that's definitely the future. I think people are now planning ahead, aren't they? And to see how that goes. But I thank you very much for joining me today. And I wish you nothing but success and a fantastic rest of the weekend. And you take care.
Thanks, Rene. It's been a great pleasure. Take care.
You're welcome.
Here today. Thank you.
Definitely. Bye.